Coach, obviously what stands out is probably Iowa State's three-point shooting. What was the biggest thing that led to them having that success from beyond the arc?
Well, that the first three shots that they took were wide open and that they knocked them down. I mean, that just that breeds confidence, and especially for a 3-point shooting team. Um, we've got to, we know that transition defense particularly is a problem for us and for our team. The 3-point line is a problem for us. So it's obviously disappointing that coming right out of the gates, we didn't get to them the way that we wanted to try to disrupt, to at least make them or make the right people shoot the basketball. And you're picking your poison against Iowa State. They're a very good basketball team, and they can really shoot the basket, and all of them can shoot the basketball. But, you've got to – their best two players are on the inside, so you've got to decide. I thought we did a good job of defending them, but you kind of got to pick your poison a little bit, and they made us pay. That's why they're a good basketball team.
I was going to say, this is now the second straight – so one of the two games in conference play where you've really done a good job of stopping kind of the leading scorer on a team. But has it just been, the cast just has a really good day that day, their supporting cast just really has a good day that day, or is it just you maybe focus so much on them that other parts of the defense starts to break down a little bit?
Well, like I said, I mean, I do think you have to pick your poison, and I think we definitely, keyed off of Jones, and also Scott. I mean, we wanted to try to take both of those kids away. We thought those were immediate threats, and I thought we did a pretty good job of that. We did a really good job of that, to be quite honest. And so you've got to decide where are you going to come off of that. We knew also that that number 21 obviously could score it and really shoot the three ball well. So that was not the one that we wanted to come off of. But they seemed to find her, and she seemed to find her shots really quickly. So yeah, I think that I'm proud of the fact that we are understanding how to take away some of the stars in this league. But we're learning very quickly that, every team is really good in the league, and they have other players that can step up and score. So we've got to take a little bit more pride in our individual defense and individual assignments.
Coach, you've been in this games, already this season, obviously, as you mentioned just the other day, that you guys have been in these games where you're trailing early, but you fight and get back into the game, like TCU, like against Oklahoma. But what was the difference today? Why weren't you guys able to get, back into this game?
Well, I actually thought we did a decent job of closing the gap a little bit in the third quarter. I think we got within 15 and had some opportunities. If you look at we have to celebrate some of the small victories right now. And one of the small victories of this game is that the second half, it was 45-49. So, that's, if you want to say we played them even or close to even, we definitely have to try to celebrate those things. But they still beat us, right? So the gap was so big in the first half that we never made a real comeback. The other part of that is that when you spend so much energy trying to come back, it's hard to maintain that, and especially when you get down 25 in the first half. Yeah, it was a long night. It was a tough night. We knew it was going to be if we didn't get to shooters, and they just did a really nice job of exploiting us.
You've been talking about over the weeks that it's time for someone else to, sort of make a play outside of Lexi and Vivian. And again today, I think Bryn was sort of next in line at 9 points. What's been sort of your message to the team?
To be quite honest, I told him in a timeout in the second half that at the end of the day, it really isn't about our offense. Everybody's talking about our offense but if you don't defend, it's not going to make a difference. And so, it's our kids. I think we've got some other focal power to step up, but if we're going to give up 99 points, it doesn't really matter what we're doing on offense. We've got to defend, and we have to have that internal fire that you have to have as a competitor, whether they're a better team than us or a better player than us, that it's just one-on-one, I'm going to get you stopped. One-on-one, I'm not going to ask for help. One-on-one, I'm going to take my role and I'm going to defend so that I don't have to ask for help, so they can't find the man that you are helping off of. And until we really get that taken care of, it's not really going to matter. I mean, if you look at our scoring, if we score 72 points, we really should be able to win a basketball game. We've got to be able to keep people, under 70 at least to be able to win.
Coach, falling short here in the last 3 games, where would you say your team's confidence is right now, and what kind of will you be focused most on this next week in practice?
Yeah. We just talked about how it's a long season. We still have a lot of games to play. I'm not going to go in there and browbeat them and just kill them. I mean, because we've got to get ready for West Virginia. It's a really long season. Our kids want to win, and they're staying together, and I really like that. They've been focused. We probably had our best shoot around of the year this morning, to be quite honest. So to come out and not really attack the way we wanted to attack in the first few minutes, I was disappointed for them because I thought they really approached this game well after a heartbreaking loss to OU. I think they're winners. Our kids are winners, and they're good. They're good girls, and they've got great hearts, and they're trying to find a way, to help us to win. And we're going to just keep battling. We're going to stay together, and we're going to just keep working. And we can't get down on each other. We can't get down on ourselves, and they won't. I know that they'll come out and fight again on Wednesday, and that's what you have to do in the Big 12.
And then Lexi Gordon having 20-plus points again, I think, for the 5th straight game. What can you just say, despite the loss, about her consistency?
I'm really proud of Lexi and Vivian, to be quite honest, but both of them for just kind of their shot selection has been a lot better. They're trusting their offense. They're staying positive. They're getting in the gym and shooting like crazy, which I really appreciate. I think that's what great shooters do, what great offensive players do. But Lexi's I think she's playing really confident. I think she's playing really smooth and free. And I've really appreciated the fact that she's allowing us to try to find ways for her and Vivian to score, and not taking it up on herself to do it every single possession or anything like that. Like, I think she's being a really coachable kid, and I think she's being really a great team player right now. So I think the game's coming to her naturally. She's a great scorer.
And last one from me, down 23 at the half, what do you tell your team in that moment to try to get that comeback, even though you know it's going to be tough?
Yeah, well, it's got to be one possession at a time, and you can't trade baskets. Like, when you're behind, you have to get stops. You have to get stops. And so we just talked about the little thing, that personal pride again, or rebound the basketball. We talked a lot about 50-50 balls, because that was one of our goals, and I don't think we got one. I think there were 3, and I told them that karma was a real thing, and that every time we didn't get a 50-50 ball, they scored. And that has to be sell out. Like, we have to sell out when they're on the court and give us everything that they have to fight through their minutes, to make things happen. So we just really talked about personal pride and chopping away at the lead and not trying to do it all yourself. And I didn't think they did that, but we. And therefore we made a little bit of a run.
Krista, you got your team bounced back pretty effectively from the loss to Baylor, and obviously most teams have a rough night against Baylor. Yeah. Now you've lost 3 in a row, and a couple have been lopsided. Is this kind of the toughest challenge your team faced so far this season in terms of pulling itself back together and giving it and making a good showing?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And a lot of that is, obviously we're in the Big 12 now, right? We're in Big 12 play, so every night it's a battle. We're playing a lot of minutes for a lot of kids, and we've got some young kids in the post position that are really we're needing to get more minutes for, and it's difficult to do that in the Big 12 particularly. When everything is so physical and so fast paced, and there's not a great time for them to have a learning curve. But yeah, we're in a tough situation right now. But this is, for a lack of better words, we got to put our big girl panties on and go to work. I mean, nobody's going to feel sorry for us. And I don't feel sorry for us. And we're not going to blame this on, COVID. We're not going to blame this on new year, new coach, new year, whatever, short, whatever it might be. Short preparation time. I mean, we're competitors, and these girls are here, and they want to make the best out of this season. And so, we're going to go back to work tomorrow. We actually are going to this is a really tough stretch for us. I think we're about to play 5 games in about 14 days, and some really tough games. We're going to go to West Virginia, who just got after Texas. We're going to come back and play Texas. Then we're going to, go on the road again to Kansas. I mean, we've got a tough stretch right here, but it wouldn't even matter in the Big 12. That's what it is. And everybody's facing the same thing. So we got to find ways to get better every single game, and we got to find ways to keep fighting. And I know this group will.
And I don't know if we'll get to talk to you again before you guys get on the plane to Morgantown. So can you give us kind of a scouting report on West Virginia and the things you will have to do well to give yourself a chance up there?
Yeah, they're very athletic and very aggressive, and push the basketball in transition. So transition defense will be key. We really need to score the basketball and take our time doing it so that we can get our defense set. And I do think that's one of the things that our team has to learn, is that when we take early shots that maybe aren't the best shots, that puts our defense at in jeopardy, and it compromises us. And so the more we can execute on offense and have really good possessions, then the better we're going to be able to get back on defense and get our defense set. We'll have to handle West Virginia's pressure. In fact, the next 2 games are going to be games that we are really going to have to do a good job handling pressure and being really physical, and some great mental toughness. I think I'm not real sure what the score was against West Virginia and Texas, but their transition game was on point against Texas.
What stands out about the Gondrzic girl and the Martinez girl inside, averaging 13 rebounds a game?
Well, her physicality. When you're a great rebounder, it is just about physicality and your pursuit. And so we will have to put a body on her. We'll have to make her aware of where she is at all times, and make sure that we really, get to her and get her out. We can't out-jump them. We cannot out-jump them. And we'll have to be strong and tough. We'll be strong and tough inside. And then on the perimeter, they've got some pretty good shooters, but they really attack the basket. And that's the thing, is like, you've got to, again, decide. I mean, you can either say pick your poison, or you can just get out and defend. And we're going to have to really get out and defend on the perimeter and keep them from just driving it down our throats.
And I'm going to ask you one more thing. Going back to the issues that you have had with perimeter coverage against the 3, is it an awareness thing, a hustle thing, an athleticism thing, or combination?
Yeah, it's probably a combination of that. If you look at our roster, we're really playing with 3 guards. We have 2 players that I call tweeners, 3 players that I call tweeners, 3 post players, and we play 3 guards. And yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a thing where we're asking them to do a lot, and particularly on the defensive side of it, and it's something that we don't have our defensive culture in place yet, and we're having to just try to defend the best that we can with the kids that we have, and we're trying to set them up to be as successful as we can. So I want to be able to help them. I want to be able to help them with whether it's, getting back and I don't know if it's getting back and getting a zone set, if it's getting back and trying to stop them before the ball, stopping the basketball early, so they can't get it down the court and in the lane, where we do have to help. I do think that our man is probably our best defense, and then our point zone is better. I think it was a little bit better tonight when we were all on the same page. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm rambling at this point, but I think it's a little bit of a combination of everything.
All right, thanks everybody.
Coach, Brady. One more for you. Brady kind of went along these lines in terms of your halftime kind of talk, but what do you learn about a team in a second half where you go down 23 at halftime and maybe the effort isn't going to necessarily change the win or the loss on the scoreboard?
I'm not real sure I understand your question. Say it again.
In a game where you're down double digits at halftime in the second half, and the performance may not change whether you win or lose, what do you find out about a team and the way they play in that second half?
Oh, yeah. Some pride. Yeah, absolutely. If you have some pride, if you have some fight about you. I thought that our kids stayed positive. I thought that they, like I said, I thought we made a little bit of a run in the third quarter, to be able to get, I think, within 15 or so was something, because we had to go on a little bit of a run to make that happen. But I didn't think our kids gave up by any means. I think they could have, and they certainly didn't. And I think that they've got to we've just got to keep working in small segments to try to make up some ground when you dig yourself that big of a hole. So, our kids aren't ever going to quit. They're definitely not going to quit, and they're going to keep trying to do the things that we ask them to do the best that they can.